Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, fellow brewers, industry leaders, tasters, and of course, beer enthusiasts. We are the TUKS Brewing team, and we are here to present, of course, our team and the brewers that we are entering into the competition this weekend. So, first of all, present here tonight is the core of our brewing team, the beating heart of the brewery, if you will. Oh, there you go, and as you can see on the screens, I thought there was going to be a big center screen, so the presentation was based off of that. Anyways, in the middle of the photo seated is our brewing captain who's standing next to me, Evandre van Heerden. As you can see, he is the captain of our mad ship, though sometimes I think he is the madness within the ship. Right next to him in the photo is, of course, myself, Luke Steele. Is Luke Steele, and I am the head brewer at TUKS. And of course, in the picture, I'm wielding the tools of the trade, the mash paddle. Next, seated on the left-hand side, is Ursula Tuomasov, and she's our resident yeast expert as well as food scientist. And then at the back, from the left first, is Aiden Fulyoun, our resident creative flair. And next to him is Jacques Leroux, who is our designated bouncer in the brewery. You may not look it, but he does Muay Thai. And the latter two are brewers in training, so they're busy learning. And this means that they wield the tool most similar to a mash paddle in the brewery, which is our infamous spaghetti mop.
All right, guys, here's a bigger picture of more of our team members. So it isn't just the five of us. Like Luke said, we are the beating heart. All right, guys, onto the equipment. So as you can see, we are rocking this premium stainless steel setup. It was built in 2005 by funds secured from our sponsors over at SAB, so thank you very much to them. As we can see, on the left-hand side is our 100-liter HLT. It is also, sorry, the system is insulated in yoga mats to add balance to our water profile. In the center, we are rocking our mash tun, and on the far right side, our boil kettle. Both of these are built from reclaimed kegs, so they are recycled and repurposed. This entire system is also supported by two temperamental old washing machine pumps. This entire system enables us to produce 50 liters of premium TUKS beer to be handed out at our departmental events as well as other departmental events in the University of Pretoria. We also engineered our own 14-meter counterflow wort chiller. Definitely not compensating for anything. All right, guys, and over to our next speaker.
How are you guys? First up, our first beer is the TUKS Premium Lager. Its name is the Physicist. It's got bubbles in it. For the lager category, we decided on brewing a Czech Premium Pale Lager in the traditional style with a decoction mash. This provided quite a challenge on the day of the brewery. We struggled a lot, but we also got a great malt character from it. You can see we used a caro foam to get a bit of an extra head on it. The crisp amber malt gave the final boil a bit of color and a bit of, an amber tinge to it. The Weermann Carabalga just added to the malt character. Furthermore, we used the traditional SARS, and for the yeast, we use an good old faithful W3470 soft lager. All of this resulted in a well-rounded example of the style, and I hope you'll enjoy it, for the judges at least. Next up, we've got the Golden Gozer.
Okay, so next is my baby. So this is our second entrant to the competition in the sour category, the Golden Gozer. This beer, we decided to play around a little bit with newer souring techniques, courtesy of Lallemand. So we used their Philly sour yeast, and we actually did a few fermentations of this and played around with the pitching rates. And with that, we were able to achieve the level of sourness that we wanted. Next, we used Hallertau Mittelfrauer as our hop, which provided a nice rounded bitterness. For the malts, we used wheat malt and good old Pilsner malt. And this was also just fairly simple malt basis. Then, of course, we had to use the style-defining salt and coriander seeds in the beer. It's part of what makes it what it is. Unfortunately, there's no port in Pretoria, so sourcing an Antarctic iceberg was a bit hard. So we had to, instead we had to resort to using Himalayan pink salt for a little theatrical flair. Those who were here last year will know what that's about. And overall, this resulted in a fairly excellent tart beer with a rounded sourness that was complemented by a really nice bready backbone. So looking forward to having you guys taste it tomorrow.
Oh no. Hola there. Our next beer was Senior Kenobi, and like a fat kid on a well, fuck. Sorry everyone. Like a fat kid on a slide, our summer beer goes down on a hot summer's day. Our Mexican-style American light lager was brewed to the category constraint of 3.5% ABV. This beer was brewed with Pilsner malt, Vienna malt, Carapils malt, and flaked corn to give it its characteristic flavor. A combination of Saaz, Chinook, and Perlay was used to provide a pleasant background bitterness. We experimented with Lallemand clone yeast in an effort to produce a lager without the need for lagering. This produced a clean and easy sipping summer lager. Thank you, everyone. Apologies.
Hello, I will be introducing the African Snuff Liner. So our African Wild Ale is a fruit beer based on an American porter. So a base of SAP pale malt and hops provide the perfect canvas to showcase the star of the show, African snuff seed fruit, and our excellent wild yeast. So the African snuff seed provides a unique, hard to describe flavor that lends itself to the porter profile. This truly African fruit came to our attention after a hiker in our group visited Flowstone Distillery in the Magaliesburg, and this distillery produces a gin with this fruit. So if you like our beer, you will definitely like their gin. Our wild yeast was sourced from a plot in the Mooiplaats area just outside of Pretoria. It was found on a grapevine that had bore fruit for the first time in almost 30 years. The yeast surprised us with a typical British yeast character, supported by light ester production. We performed a multi-tough analysis to genetically just make sure that the wild yeast is a Saccharomyces cerevisiae strain, and it is. We're happy to announce that it is genetically Saccharomyces cerevisiae. And this beer is definitely a must try, and it is one of a kind. Thank you.
All right, on to our last beer. Et tu, Brute? Okay, so this beer catches you off guard. This New England hazy IPA wraps up our entries for this year. Our IPA is a full-bodied beer with an intense New World citrus hop character, experience bolstered by the addition of orange peel. This was further intensified using Mangrove Jack's hop-head yeast. This creates a delectable citrus aroma that entices you to take just one more sip. All right, guys, thank you very much.